Hi guys, I'm Lozzy and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be taking you back to a time where playing and listening to music wasn't always easy as it has been. So I'm going to be taking you back to 2006, you know, the year where England lost on penalties to Portugal in the World Cup. Rooney got sent off because of Ronaldo. Bird flu was discovered in the UK. It was only Scotland though, so no one gave a fuck. And Saddam Hussein was executed. A solid fucking year. A fucking great year, actually. But more importantly, I had just started high school and I was actually allowed by my mum to buy my first phone. My first proper phone. All the previous ones I'd had to that, I'd just literally got to play Snake. Snake was the one. That was the pinnacle of gaming on mobile. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Now, why was it important that I was able to buy my first proper mobile phone? I'll tell you why. Because this phone was capable of playing MP3s. I remember it so well. It was a BenQ Siemens E61. I know that means nothing to most people because to this day I don't know any other kid that had this phone. I don't know any other human who bought this phone. Because looking at it as an adult, you'd suddenly realise that it was a heap of shit. But from someone's perspective who really wanted a mobile phone, that did stand out to me. Now this phone was sexy, okay? Sexy! At the top of the phone, you had like a play pause button, a skip next track, a skip previous or previous track, whatever you call it, and a volume up and down rocker on the top of the phone. Fucking mental design, but it was so cool. Like, it looked cool. I had like the orange stripe that went like round the whole side of the phone. It's fucking sick. Oh, I'm getting a fucking chub on just thinking of it. It had predictive text, it had voice memos, had a stopwatch, right? Had 1 megabyte of memory. Gorgeous, sexy, sumptuous memory. But like I said, the most important thing was that it played MP3s. This quite simply was a game changer for me. I'm not gonna lie. I became a dom. It allowed you to put music from your home onto your phone. Now, the only other way currently I could have experienced that with the technology available was something called an MP3 player, and it was literally dedicated to playing MP3s. You know, it'd be that like USB shaped stick one and had the barely readable digital screen on it. Having MP3s on your phone was a new frontier for me, and quite simply it made you a king amongst men. Now, I understand there's some people who are watching this who don't quite fully understand what I'm saying. What you had music and then you physically put it on your phone? I don't get it. I'm out. Here I'll just quickly educate you a bit. So what you do is you take your CDs, okay? That's it, CDs, we're going that far back. And one of the CDs I would have had at the time was 50 Cent's Massacre album. Don't ask me, it was a very bad time in my life, but obviously not that bad because I had a mobile that could play MP3s. Now here's what you would do at this point. If you were lucky to have a PC at home and you were lucky enough to have a disk drive in that PC, then this is what you would do. You'd put in the CD, it would load up on your PC. You could then essentially take the music off the disc and put it onto a computer, copy it. The copy and paste, essentially. Then what you do is you get your MP3 player or your phone or whatever you had at the time to connect to your PC, and then you'd literally click and drag the files over. It was a seamless, well, it seemed seamless at the time, but it probably took about 20 minutes. And then once the files had loaded onto your device, you'd take the device out and then you experienced the audio files on the go. Mate, I felt like Bill Gates every single time I did it. I thought I was fucking the system over. So I was copying music from a CD and putting it onto a device that didn't have the music on there in the first place. Now, there's one thing that a lot of people were getting PCs for at this point, and that brings us on to the new frontier in music, and that was the internet. Now, the internet allowed you to do so many things. You could send files, download files, share things, and watch porn, mostly porn. You could send electronic mail with porn links. This also allowed you to do one thing that you hadn't previously been able to do, which is download music. And this is where my journey of downloading music, and more importantly the popularity of sites like LimeWire, came to fruition. If you were like me, this was the place you went to get all of the music you desired. And at the time, you're completely oblivious to the fact that this is 100% illegal. And for people who don't know what LimeWire was, basically it was a search engine for music. Basically, you'd search for a song that you wanted, you'd scroll down, click download, and then you'd find out how good your antivirus was. And let me tell you, if you didn't have any antivirus software at this point, you are a savage and you are a gambling man. But honestly, I take my hat off to you, your bravery knows no bounds. Now when you click download, essentially one of three things would happen. Number one, your bank account details are now made public domain. Number two, you get the song that you actually asked to download. Or number three, you got files like this played at an offensive volume.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And in all honesty, you probably only get the song you actually asked to download around about 30% of the time. Like I said, the other 70% would have been dodgy porn audio, Bill Clinton saying he did not have sexual relations with that woman, or a totally different song altogether. Trolls have existed for a long time, but it was free, and free is good. Unfortunately, like I said before, this was completely illegal. See, the problem was, because the music is free to download, the record companies aren't getting their cut. Now, the record companies naturally wanted to shut places like LimeWire, BearShare and Napster down for good. Places like LimeWire were a free file sharing service. They often wouldn't have any content ID or check-in or security systems in place, which is why I said you don't always get what you ask for. I mean, if you're looking to download Jason Mraz's I'm Yours, you're more likely to get audio from German dungeon porn, which for some people isn't a bad deal, and for the most part you accepted the risks for the potential reward of free music. But however, in May 2010 it was announced that LimeWire was to shut down, and in October 2010 LimeWire officially did shut down. Other similar platforms followed suit, and this obviously meant the collapse of en masse file sharing. There was always going to be people committed to the cause of getting things for free, so there were still people who still did it, but it did decline severely when file sharing sites like LimeWire went down. And another evolution seemed to happen, although an evolutionary step that was not very well thought out, at least. Record companies still seething from the loss of revenue from year after year after year of free file sharing decided to try and get the public on board and try and get the public not to pirate or illegally download music. They did this by offering a free digital download code. I don't know if you remember this. You'd see this mostly on like things like DVDs and CDs. You buy like a CD or a DVD, and in the corner it'd be like a free digital download thing. You go to this web address, blah 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 blah, put in this code, you get a free digital version of the album or the film. And naturally, from this form of thinking, you'll understand why no one would want to download music, right? No, I think they failed to understand that there are always going to be people out there who want something for free, and the solution to that probably wasn't asking them to pay for something to get something for free. But there was one thing that was gaining popularity in technically pirating music and video, and that was the YouTube converters, which still operate today. Now, although using the YouTube converter is a much more long-winded process, it still gets you more or less the same result. Again, because most of these services were free, there was no security. To put it simply, you basically roll the dice on whether you are voluntarily about to make your PC contract Ebola. Hot on the heels of LimeWire's decline came a very new idea, and that was to stream music, and that's what we have today. That's where we currently are. But crucially, for music streaming, it did cater for the cheap bastards. You could still listen to music, not exactly the way you want to listen to music. It would maybe let you pick like a playlist or an album, and then it would make like a list of tracks based on that for you to listen to, and you'd have the occasional ad. But it's still a free service nonetheless. So it seemed like they had struck a happy medium. But from a personal perspective, it's a very weak argument, this. I'm not arguing for to have LimeWire back, I'm really not. But the nostalgia of me thinking about going through and looking at these songs that I wanted to download is something that will never leave me. And at the end of the day, LimeWire, whichever way you cut it, was a sharing system. It was people getting together and sharing things with each other. And yes, we still do that now, but that platform is gone. Those platforms are gone. And it was such a nice, although it was completely illegal, I accept that, it was illegal, but it was just a nice thing for people to be sharing things with each other. With Spotify, it's very polished, it's very like, okay, this is what you want, bang, done. There's a bit of charm and a bit of cheekiness and a bit of charismatic persona that's kind of lost from music streaming at the moment. It's very clean cut, which I understand why. It's a customer driven business. If your app and your service is shit, you're probably not going to have many paying customers. But even to this day, music streaming isn't a potentially very profitable market. I mean, the biggest player in the game, Spotify, has over 100 million paid subscribers. I can't remember if it was this year or the previous year was the first year they made a profit. 13 years Spotify's been around. That's how difficult it is. Do you know what? Fuck it. I say bring LimeWire back. Don't make any money anyway. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. That's what it's there for. Either way, it helps me. So if you are mad at me and you don't like me, I win either way. I'm chalking it up as a win. Alright? I'm giving it a big fucking W. Yeah? Like, share, subscribe. If you want to support me, I've got my Patreon, and also if you're feeling generous enough, my PayPal, which should be in the description of this video, if not on the screen. I guess that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.